How's it going? My name is Blake,
Ashley.
and we're just going to talk a little bit about our 4 months with Diego Reyes' health journey so far in partnership with Complete Vitality. So, 4 months ago, now almost 4 months ago, December 16th, we decided we had enough with the way that our lives were going. I was pushing 300 pounds. She doesn't have to say where she was at, but let's just say we weren't in the healthiest of conditions for ourselves, and we were not really setting a good example for our children.
Yeah, like Blake said, we were just not healthy. I had been diagnosed with thyroid or hypothyroidism about 10 years ago and just was at a breaking point because no matter what I was doing, taking my medicine, eating clean, eating everything I was supposed to not eat, or eating healthy supposedly, and just not feeling the energy, not able to sleep. No matter what I did, I just was not losing weight. Just at a breaking point, and we decided to contact Diego after seeing a fellow friend just go through some amazing changes working with him, that we both decided it was time to do something for our health so that we can be here for our children in the future.
Since I was maybe 14, 15 years of age, I had real bad gut issues with acid reflux, just real bad heartburn in general. And within the first 10 to 15 days, after Diego kind of guided me through that, I was able to leave all of that behind. I didn't have any more acid reflux. I didn't have any heartburn of any kind. I was able to leave all of the Omeprazole, the antacids, altogether. This is coming from somebody who used to take 1 or 2 a day just to get by. So that was pretty good. Speaking of kiddos, sorry, had to pause that one kind of short. But yeah, so Omeprazole every day for many, many years, from the time I was 13 to almost 33. So come to find out, Diego taught us that really destroys and disrupts internal stomach linings, and so that was pretty good knowledge. We learned quite a bit about our internal gastrointestinal tract through his GI maps that he had us do. So we really learned a lot about the ins and outs of our bodies, literally the inside, and how we can start sensitivities, allergies, and we really got down to the root cause of what was causing all of our health issues and metabolic issues.
And then for me, Blake was able to get off medicine, like he said, immediately, almost 10 days out. And me, thyroid was my biggest issue, that low energy. Insomnia was crazy. I could not sleep no matter how tired my body got. It was just all over the place. Even hunger. I was not hungry, yet I was constantly gaining weight. So within those 10 days, also like Blake, that first week, just what Diego calls the flush, just trying to get our body clean, detox it, so that we can find out what the root cause of our issues is. I mean, just within those 10 days, the swelling and inflammation that I experienced was crazy. Like, just in pictures, you could tell a huge difference. I started feeling better. I started sleeping through the night. Probably about 10 days in, I would say. Would you say the same thing?
Yeah, about 10 days I noticed a big difference in not only sleep patterns, but coming out of sleep, waking up in the mornings and just feeling more rested.
Yeah, I hated mornings. Like, I was not a morning person just because I didn't feel like I ever got enough rest. But just working on eating healthier, focus about 10 days, and it was night and day. It was such a big difference.
So after those first 30 days, after we had already completed our flush and after we had started our workout regimens, I started to notice a huge increase in energy, metabolism as well was starting to ramp back up. Being able to eat, whole foods throughout the day, staying fuller longer, not craving so much the junk foods that was a major part of my life. That was a big deal. And of course, the inches started coming off, the weight started coming off, and that was super inspirational. And then after the second month, just the overall feeling of strength and the overall feeling of just confidence in that what we were doing was in fact working. We take weekly pictures to be able to track our progress, not just what the weight scale says. We learned early on that that's not the most important thing. What's important is how you feel, how your clothes are fitting, and what you can see in pictures. And we're parents, both of us, and that lifestyle is not anything that's easy. Raising kids and working, and then trying to prioritize health. But Diego tailored the program to fit our needs and tailored the program to fit our lifestyle, and we were still seeing very good results.
And thanks to Diego just being able to tailor that program to us, we needed that. We needed that structure, that eating schedule with meal suggestions, and then that workouts. Just a structure was really what we needed. But for me, I can say I had a huge win about 2 months in with Diego. Again, I had been on thyroid medicine, levothyroxine, and Synthroid back and forth for 10 years. And I was just due for my labs. I had not been taking my medicine just since I started with Diego, and was taking the supplements and eating healthier that he had recommended for my specific issue. And I went to get my labs checked and went to see my doctor specialist, and they were shocked because my labs came back the best they had ever been. In fact, I left that appointment and they told me, you no longer need to take your medicine because your thyroid is functioning. You are basically in remission, even though it's not. I mean, everything was working there. Like, there's no need for you to see us because you're back to where you need to. So that was my huge win accomplishment before even the physical. It was getting off of that medicine that I had been on for 10 years.
So yeah, that's pretty much up to the first 2 months. Now these last 2 months, like I mentioned, we're nearing the end of month 4. The next 2 months after that were pretty substantial as well. Our children were noticing our habits that we were creating, the culture that we were instilling in the house. And we never wanted to force anything on them. We didn't want to change anything about how they were enjoying their little snacks or anything like that. This was more for us and our longevity and being here longer for our kids. But what's interesting enough is good habits are caught, not taught. So they started to catch on what we were doing, and they would try to mimic the way we were lifting weights, or, they would ask, is this a healthy item or is this healthier? So these are not things that we were impressing onto them or, trying to force them to learn. These are things that they were just catching on to. So that was probably the first and foremost thing that we saw that was pretty neat and beneficial to our household. And then outside of that, coworkers start to notice a difference in your daily attitude or the day, how you carry yourself. Our parents on her side and my side were starting to ask, what are y'all doing? We can see differences in y'all. And then of course friends, past that, they would ask, hey, y'all are doing something, aren't y'all? Keep it up, this, that, and the other. So it was noticeable. Your whole identity starts to change, once you start to really get into the groove of things. You start being able to use your new mindset when going grocery shopping, when going out to eat. You're wanting to stay home, at least in our case, wanting to stay home and cook more because that's going to be a more beneficial way to take care of yourself throughout the week, have less guesswork and more prep work. Just something that we've really started to implement in this household.
So yeah, cooking definitely changed. Labels. I mean, there's so many things that Diego taught us, just looking at these labels and what is actually in the food we're putting into ourselves, and it's become our lifestyle. We can now shop and cook and do things, and everything feel good about what we're putting in ours, and our bodies really do feel a difference. It's crazy. Even with coffee, we used to live off of it, and now it's kind of like a treat, and it does what it's supposed to. It gives us that energy that we need, but we're not depending on it anymore. But even more results for me now, I can really notice it just being off of this medicine for so long. I'm almost down 18 pounds, not quite there yet, but it's not even about the pounds. It's with the working out and how we've been doing our life. It's our shaping up of our bodies has completely changed. It's physical, but it's also mental. That's another big one for me. just mental healing, even though we were working on our physical. It's all connected.
And I guess to summarize or wrap it up, I know we're over 10 minutes now, but we're going to try to make this as painless as possible. It really is about changing your lifestyle completely over. It's not about how much weight you're losing. It's not about it's not about any of that. It's about changing your internals to be healthier. Everything you fix on the inside, it'll shows on the outside. And that's what we learned early on. We were so fixated on a number that Diego made it very clear to us in the beginning that's not what any of this is about. That we're going to be discouraged if that's what we're trying to chase, but no.
It wasn't a quick 90-day fix. That was one thing he immediately told us, like, I'm not guaranteeing you losing all this weight in 90 days, because it's not about the weight loss. It's about healthy lifestyles inside, literally healing us inside out.
Yep, creating a whole new lifestyle for ourselves and setting those good patterns for our kiddos, and just for longevity, for us to have a better, more healthier life moving forward. So overall, we're very much excited, looking forward to the next 5 months with Diego. That's what we signed on for. And so we're very much excited to see where we go from here. But
more wins,
more wins. We find pleasure in the small wins, the big wins. That's probably what keeps us going, is those little mental wins, those little wins that we just keep looking for them, because they really are. Diego always tells us, give yourself some grace. Life is super tough, super busy. Give yourself those wins, find that grace. That way you don't, lead yourself into discouragement when you do have an off week, because ultimately you are going to have those days where you're off. You're going to have those weeks where it's not as hard hitting as you wanted it to be, but put those behind you, move forward.
And to add to that note, just having a coach to help you through that, so that you're not super hard on yourself. It's been really good. I mean, working with you, we have to say thank you about that. It's helped us mentally and to adjust. It's not always going to be the same. It's not linear, or I guess that's the right word. We do have ups and downs, just like in life.
Yep. And having Diego as a coach gives us a level of accountability, but also having each other. That's also, we hold each other accountable. There's days I don't want to work out and she gets my butt in gear, and vice versa. So overall, we're learning self-discipline. We're also learning intensity in the right ways. And we're just super thankful to this program with Coach Diego. And that's pretty much it for me.
Sounds good.
All right.